what kills most real estate agents' businesses? Why do real estate agents struggle so much? And why is it so hard for them to get consistent GCI year after year or even hit six figures? And why is there such a high failure rate in real estate? Well, guess what? What I've noticed over time, there's three things that keeps agents stuck and struggling. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all three of these things. So stick around right into the end, because at the end, I'm going to share with you basically the one thing that if you focus on this, it can shift your real estate career forever. And you can have the time freedom that you would like in this career and build a business that is sustainable, long-term, and ultimately make the income that you're out to create as a real estate agent. Now, without further ado, let's dive into it. So what is the number one thing that I see real estate agents struggling time and time again? And I think this is the biggest struggle that real estate agents, I'm gonna write it down here and then I'm gonna reveal it. I'm gonna write it out really big. The number one thing that I believe real estate agents struggle with is their marketing. They struggle with putting themselves out there or building a brand for themselves. And when you struggle with marketing, guess what? You're going to struggle to get leads, and it's a ripple effect, because if you're not getting leads, you're not getting opportunities to sell houses. And if you're not getting opportunities to sell houses, guess what? You're not making GCI. So it starts there, is you struggle to get leads. Why do you struggle to get leads? Well, you're probably not consistent enough in the things that you're doing. That's what I see anyways. Or you could potentially have shiny object syndrome, where you're doing something over here, you're doing something over here, you're doing something here. Or you could be doing things like cold calling, door knocking, open houses that are out of alignment with who you are at your core. And when you're doing things that are out of alignment with who you are, guess what? You're probably not going to get the results that you're out to achieve, okay? Because you will not continue to do those things. So agents struggle with leads. And a lot of the time, agents are focusing on cold traffic or cold leads. What's a cold lead? Somebody that doesn't know you, somebody that's never heard about you, okay? And that's what cold calling, door knocking, you're putting yourself out there. However, you're putting yourself out there, from my perspective, in the wrong way, okay? So it ultimately doesn't get you the results that you're out to create, because you're not in alignment with who you are, okay? So you got to find something that you're in alignment with. You got to find something that you're going to do consistent. You have to continue to put yourself out there and build a brand around yourself, so you become likable, you become trustworthy, and it positions you as an expert in your local community, okay? So that is the number one thing that I see, is agents struggle with marketing. So if there's one thing that you could really focus and dial in on, is your marketing. Is starting to study marketing, is starting to read books around marketing, to look in other industries, look at other top agents in your market and see what they're doing. I can specifically share with you, there's an agent in my local market and he dominates. He's got a team. You see him everywhere. You see him on a billboard, you see him in the newspaper, you see him on YouTube ads, you see him on Facebook ads, you see him on door hangers. He is absolutely everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, he was there. And guess what? He gets the most amount of business because people recognize him. They see his face. They know exactly who he is. And guess what? He's not even one selling the house. He's got somebody else going out there and selling the house for him, and he's still making money. So he's got the biggest brand, and he's the best marketer in the business. The best marketers in the business, doesn't matter what niche you're in, what industry you're in, generally win, not the best product. So you could be a really diligent, high integrity real estate agent, but you're not getting opportunities to show that piece of value in the marketplace. You haven't become the best marketer, or you haven't figured out how to market yourself appropriately to stand out in your marketplace, okay? So if there's one thing that I highly suggest from my perspective as a real estate agent, is to start dialing in your marketing and looking for ways how you can actually focus in on your marketing and become a better marketer. How can you put yourself out there? How can you be a trusted source? How can you be more likable? How can you become more valuable in the marketplace? And I talk about this in numerous videos, value-based marketing and having YouTube ads. It's like a billboard on steroid. People start to know you and see you everywhere because they're in your pocket, on your phone, they're on your TV, your desktop, on your messenger. They see you everywhere, okay? So that's a way to supercharge your brand in the marketplace. But there's also offline methods too that you can do. At the end of the day, you have to figure out how to become the best marketer so you can get more opportunities. So that is the very first thing. The second thing that I see, and I'm gonna write it down here, is your presentation. Yes, your listing presentation is not dialed in. So maybe you become the best marketer and you're putting yourself out there and you have lots of leads coming in and you're starting to get more opportunities to sell houses. You're getting more valuation opportunities, more people telling you that they'd like to list your house. However, they could be still interviewing their agents. So how do you up your conversion rates when you're at a listing presentation? Most agents, and a lot of them, the ones that I talk to, they still wing this process, and it makes no sense to me. Why would you be winging your listing presentation? It is your highest money making activity that you will ever do as a real estate agent. In a gap of say 45 minutes to an hour and a half, guess what? That is where you make all your money. It's the hinge, the small hinge, and it swings the huge doors. Okay, so if your conversion rate is say 40% or 50%, what if it got up to 75, up to 90%? That means 9 out of 10 listing presentations that you go into, you convert. That's a lot of extra GCI. So I know getting into this business, I originally did not have a listing presentation either, and I struggled with it because I didn't know a lot of people. And when I would go in there, they would pick somebody else, and I continued to refine and refine and refine the process, and eventually I got it dialed into a point that converting close to 80-90% every time you go into a listing presentation now, because I've systemized the process. Okay, so that is the one area that I see time and time again, that yes, now you've become the go-to marketer, the expert in the community. However, you still don't dial in your listing presentation. So when you have dialed in marketing, okay, and you've already positioned yourself as an expert, that should pre-sell people on you even when you go into the listing presentation. So that is number 2. If you do not have a dialed in listing presentation, you can always comment below, let me know. I'm happy to go over this with you as well. I have a PDF I can share with you, an outline that I know works, and a process that works for a listing presentation to get you high conversion. This is the small hinge that'll swing big doors. So if you haven't dialed in your listing presentation, I highly suggest that you take a look at this. And if you have a listing presentation you haven't been converting very well, take a look at this too. When you make these subtle tweaks, it makes all the difference, okay? Now, let's move into number 3. I'm going to write it down here. And some of you might not appreciate hearing this. However, the nurturing process, and I'm sure you've heard it, the fortune, it's in the follow-up. And guess what? It is. The reality is the majority of leads that you talk to are not ready to take action now. The buying cycle in real estate, at least in our local community, is about 7 years, buying or selling cycle, okay? 7 years somebody's making a transaction or thinking about buying or selling, okay? So that's a long time. So we have to have a nurture process, okay? It still kills me when I hear real estate agents don't have a CRM or customer relation management system, where they're taking notes, where they're following up, where they're calling, email, texting. This is the hub, okay? This is where all the money is made in your CRM. That's where all the value is, okay? It's having people's contact information, tracking where they're at so you can follow up with them, and having a system in place where you can basically go in daily and reach out to certain people, not spending a crazy amount of time. I'm not talking spending all day here, but you continue to reach out to people and nurture them. That's what good customer service is. Asking if they need anything. It doesn't have to be complicated. Do you have any questions about the real estate market right now? Are you curious about an update on your property? No? Okay. Can I follow up in 3 or 4 months? Yeah, absolutely. Most people are nice. They're considerate, and if they know who you are and they've gotten a piece of value from you, they will continue to engage with you. And guess what? They will think about you when they do actually go to buy and sell. So we have to have a nurturing process in place. We can't be winging this. This is really, really important to track where people are at, also build rapport with people. However, I still see agents dropping the ball on this, okay? That is the 3rd thing that I suggest that we focus on as real estate agents, okay? So let me cover all 3 of them again as a recap here. Marketing, getting your marketing dialed in will generate more leads for you. Once you have more leads coming in, you need to dial in our listing presentation. Once we have our listing presentation in, we have more leads, we're converting more leads, our GCI is getting through the roof. But guess what? Not everybody is ready to take action right now. So we have to have a nurturing process in place that nurtures people, that would continue to give value to them. So when they think about buying or selling, guess who they think of? They think of you, because you've been giving so much value. You positioned yourself as an expert. You've made yourself very likable and trustworthy, and they're going to think about you. So those are the 3 areas to really focus on. So I challenge you right now to think about your own business and think of where there might be gaps or might be missing in your business, and start get things dialed in. And I promised you I would talk about one specific thing to get dialed in. Well, guess what? These 3 things are really all encompassed in one. The big overarching elephant in the room, I should say, for real estate agents, I notice time and time again, is they lack systems. They don't have systems in a business, which means there's nothing repeatable. There's nothing automated in your business. So you have to do all the heavy lifting constantly. And this is what creates burnout in any type of business, okay? You don't have systems. And if you don't have systems, you don't have leverage in your business, and you're not gonna ultimately get the time freedom that you would like in your business as a real estate agent, okay? And you're ultimately not gonna hit the GCI that you would like as a real estate agent, okay? And if you've struggled with feast or famine in this business, I can almost bet that this is probably why. And if you would like a free assessment on this, we can pinpoint exactly where there might be holes in your business, we're happy to do that. You can click the link below and we can talk about where you're at and where you'd like to go and share a couple of our systems that we have that we help agents with as well. But this is the overarching thing, is your systems, they suck. Or you don't have systems. So really take a look at that and see where things are at with you. And if you like this video and you enjoyed the content that I've been sharing, subscribe to the channel. It incentivizes me to continue to share wisdom, experience that I have in the real estate niche over 17 years. And I love sharing this so you can ultimately get the time freedom that you would like as a real estate agent, why we got into this business, and hit the GCI that you would like so you can do the things you would like to do with your family and your friends, and you can live a very freeing life. This whole channel is directed around giving value, being authentic to who you are so you can actually enjoy what you do. 2 major things that I struggled with in this business that I was constantly seeking. How do you find enjoyment? How do you find a joyful business in real estate, or feeling joyful in this business and having an enjoyable business while being in real estate, and not spinning your wheels and feel like you're chasing and working with energy vampires? It's got to be a way to have a business that you thrive at, that you feel like you have time freedom and that you're in control of too. And that's what this channel is all about, okay? So subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to shoot content like this. And if you like this video, you can give me a thumbs up too. I'm Nick Doherty, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And if you'd like more content on lead generation, watch this video here. Okay, bye for now.